What up, fam? It's your boy Z-Dog MD, Dr. Cynthia Griffin, special co-host.
Yeah.
She's a flight physician.
Yeah.
That's like the guy who flies Airwolf, except not a guy and not Airwolf. I'm gonna load up. We're gonna see
Dream
here.
job.
Dream job. I'm gonna load up our thing. See, okay, we got 12 viewers, guys.
Hey, look at that.
That's like the guy who flies Airwolf. Okay, there's a little bit of a delay. Let me turn that volume down.
That might be the 12 friends that I have.
You know what? That's more friends than I have. I'm impressed. 407.
And my mama.
And your mama. My baby mama. Let's start the show.
Not yours.
Go. I'm alright.
What? Medicaid Uber.
No.
Medicaid Uber. That's the ambulance in many inner cities. Now, Dr. Griffin.
Yeah.
Guys, Z-Pack, I want you guys to take a look at a hero/heroine, depending on. We don't like the word heroin anymore because of the whole opioid thing.
It sounds bad.
Yes, but she is a heroine. She reached out to me because she's in town for the Essentials of Emergency Medicine Conference in Las Vegas.
Which is awesome.
Which is amazing, by the way. Best conference in the world, except for the AAPA, which I rocked last night. Booyah! Ooh, PAs, happy 50th. And thank you for your service. And it turns out she, paramedic for 7 years.
Longer than 7.
Longer than that?
Well, total longer than that. Like 19 years total.
19 years of
Yeah.
paramedic tree. All right.
But I did 7 just paramedic, career medic.
Career medic. Now, why is this important? Because next week is EMS week.
Woo woo.
And we're repping our frontline EMSers.
Yeah.
All right? Them paramedics, man. Them EMT. Them ambulance drivers.
First responders.
Ambulance drivers, because that's what they are, right? Ambulance drivers?
No. I mean, they do drive ambulances too. And that's kind of fun, actually.
Have you driven one?
Yes.
How's that?
Well, I haven't for a long time, but I did before, and it was phenomenal. And you could break all sorts of speed laws, but you're not supposed to, and you drive with due regard to the public. There's a lot of like extra rules and stuff on there now, but it's phenomenal. Yeah,
so do
great.
you get to go like Starsky and Hutch and just take the little siren and put it up on the top and be like,
they're already built in, but you can play with the siren.
that's pretty dope. But you guys, so we have a legit.
But it's a lot more than that. So yeah, look out for people
I suppose.
because they don't look out for you.
That's the other problem is like the rules of etiquette of the road, especially in Las Vegas. People don't get out of the way. It's crazy. So the reason I was excited is career medic for a while, then transitioned to becoming physician.
Yep.
And not just any physician, but a flight physician, which apparently is a thing in only a few states.
Yeah, I think it's about 3 states. So Wisconsin, Ohio,
Chapadocta.
and yeah. It's like Wisconsin, Ohio, and maybe Washington State. But overseas, it's usually physicians and nurses. Or
Interesting.
physicians and paramedics, actually.
Right, but
that do
here
flight.
it's typically not that.
Here it's typically nurse-paramedic model.
Now, I want to get a little into your story because then I want to celebrate kind of the EMS experience. Also talk about the helicopter stuff.
Yep.
We're going to take your comments so that Dr. Cynthia can rock the Casbah. And because when I read your story, I was like, holy smoke! So you were like a military brat,
Yeah.
born in Colorado.
Yeah, military brat, born in Colorado, and my daddy was a ranger. But I've been like everywhere, mostly bi-coastal.
Do they have a special bathroom for that now?
No, not
Okay.
anymore.
So, but
Everyone always asks me like, where are you from? And
Yeah.
it's like so convoluted because I've been everywhere.
Wow.
And then born in Colorado, and they don't care about born in Colorado. They want to know like, where are you from?
where are you from? That's what Vegas people. No one's born in Vegas.
Yeah.
You're from somewhere, except for the people who are actually born in Vegas.
I'm Puerto Rican.
And she's Puerto Rican, which means fire.
Yeah.
Fire. And the Puerto Rican discount.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a Puerto Rican discount. You guys may not understand this. We were talking about
Older
age
than I
recently.
look.
She's 105 years old.
Yeah.
Look at this.
It's been a long
It's
road.
amazing. It has been a long
Yeah.
road. So speaking of a long road, now what sort of prompted you to go into becoming a paramedic in the first place?
Oh, it's so random. So I was actually in college and saw an ad in the paper that said, do you want to help people, help on an ambulance? No experience needed, just call this number and join the rescue squad. And I did. And then they put me through all the training and I learned CPR and I started EMT class and I was like, this is amazing.
Wow.
Like, it's phenomenal.
So literally an ad in the paper.
Yeah.
Because if I would have seen that ad, I'd be like, oh, hell no, I don't want to help people.
Oh no, it's phenomenal.
That's awesome.
It's
So-
awesome. And I got like bit by the EMS bug. It was over then.
What did that feel like? Was that like just you just fell in love? You felt there was a calling there, or what was it
I
about?
felt there was a calling. Like, it was just phenomenal to be able to like go to people's emergencies and be able to help.
Wow. So doing stuff.
Yeah,
doing stuff. And I think that makes sense in terms of how you transition to emergency medicine. Because emergency docs, contrary to popular belief, they actually do stuff.
We do stuff.
That's why I love going to Essentials of the conference over here, because they're talking about doing stuff. Like, they'll show pictures of horrible things and like, here's what we do for that. Whereas internal medicine docs like myself, we just talk about it, write notes about it, bill for it, but don't do anything. And then we take all your dumps.
Nice.
Yeah, that's also true.
Well, it's just nice to know that you can handle anything. Like, anyone can come into the ER, or anyone can come, to any scene, and it's like, whatever it is, trust my training and deal with it.
It is what it is, right? You can just do it.
It's awesome.
So when did you realize, okay, you're a paramedic, you're showing up in the emergency department, did you feel like you got a level of respect and collegiality, or was it a challenge at times?
Ooh, so most of the times I got a lot of respect, but sometimes I didn't, and I think it's just because there's not a lot of knowledge and awareness of how much a paramedic can do, how much EMS people can do. Some people say, oh, well, you're just an ambulance driver, but it's so much more than that, you know? It's like the person who drives the ambulance is also the resuscitationist. Like, we're the ones that are gonna go down and do CPR and intubate and decide what medicines you need. Like, it's more than just driving an ambulance.
Yeah, way more, right?
Well, I'm seeing in the comments a lot of
It's
people
tough.
saying, yeah, there's no such thing as ambulance driver anymore. That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right, there's nobody just driving the ambulance. You're doing all that stuff, right? So you're trained to do it. You practice it in the real world. You are constantly in a sort of on the front lines. You're in danger a lot too, right?
I mean, it's an unpredictable environment.
Right.
Usually we try not to go in when it's safe. We have police that usually clear scenes for us, and firefighters that will go ahead and, chalk cars and make sure that nothing's going to land on us, because the last thing we want to do is be a victim as well,
Right.
or be a patient.
Right, and that happens.
As well.
It
Yeah,
happens.
it does. But it's interesting to think, like, we're the people that are, going towards that disaster when other people are running away.
That's the beauty.
It's a good feeling.
It's really beautiful. I mean, it's. I remember Kurt Vonnegut, I think, said the most powerful symbol of man's humanity to man is a fire truck. Because here are people who will risk their lives to come save you and your property, right? When everyone else is running out of the building. And that's the magic, I think, as we enter EMS week, we want to really dig into what is the heart of our first responders, right? And your colleagues in fire and in police, they're essential to this operation.
Oh, totally, yeah. We're like it's almost like a big family. You got to look out for each other.
Now, what did you find were the roadblocks because I hear a lot of paramedics, a lot of EMS personnel telling me we don't get the respect or acknowledgement we deserve, we don't get the pay we deserve, and what's up with that? Are we part of the Z-Pack or what? And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, you're part of the Z-Pack.
Yeah.
But I want someone who's actually lived both sides of it, the medical doctor side and the EMS first responder side, to talk about that a little bit.
So the pay thing, I don't know. I definitely don't think EMS providers get paid what they need. Like, they do so much. Like, who's gonna come to your house at 3 o'clock in the morning and take care of your sick infant? And
Medicaid Uber.
Yeah, no. But I don't know how the whole pay thing works, and I think that people just, I don't know, they don't really know how much they can do.
Yeah.
And that's why EMS week is so important, because you need to go out there and get to know your squads and know what they do. Even if you're, so Mike and I, we were talking about this earlier.
Mike is your husband, yeah?
Yeah.
Paramedic.
He's awesome.
She's walking the walk and marrying the talk.
Yeah. So we were talking about this, like, what can you do for someone during EMS week? And the best thing to do, especially is, like, if you're a healthcare provider, you should go to your squad, find out more about EMS, find out what they do, because a lot of times EMS are either getting, education that's way too low, like below the level, like, oh, this is what CPR is, or sometimes it's way too high, where you're talking about like different cath procedures on someone. And if you're, a healthcare provider, like, find out what they do. Oh, they do 12 leads, right? Oh, these are the medicines that we have in our box. Well, how can that cardiologist direct education to them so that it'll help them out in the long run?
Yeah.
And I think, like, that's the best thing you could do.
That's a crucial piece, right? Because I think one of the big problems on both sides of this EMS divide, if it is a divide, because it shouldn't be, it's all a continuum of care. And if we're talking about Health 3.0, we're talking about integrating across the continuum of care, where we're all focused on the outcome for patients, but also taking care of each other. So we all need to know what we know and what we're good at and get better at it, and we need to also know what we don't know. And one of the problems in medicine across the board is that we often don't know what we don't know. And so I see this on the EMS side, in that, a lot of times with the training that they do get, they can think that they understand certain complexities of the disease that really do require a residency or specialized training, et cetera. And on the opposite end, the physicians and folks in the emergency department or in the hospital, they feel like they understand what the first responders are doing or going through, but they have
they
no
don't.
idea.
No,
Like
they have no idea.
Listen, you put me on an ambulance. I'm a hospitalist. I've run many codes. Blah 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 blah.
But have you run a code in between a toilet and a shower in a 300-pound person?
Maybe.
No, you
No,
haven't.
never.
It's so different.
Well, maybe.
I bet you a lot of the viewers have.
You don't
though.
know me. Okay, you don't know me. I run a lot of code. No, but this is what it is. So then they'll say, oh, no. You go, well, look what you did here. No, you don't understand what it's like in the field, in the rig, the kind of tools that you have, and the particular challenges you have. You don't know unless you've done a ton of ride-alongs, or you know, which I think I would love for EMS Week someone to let Doc Vader do a ride-along. Because he will go dark side on your rig. I'm just saying.
I'm telling you, you could come to Wisconsin and we would.
Should we fly Vader to Wisconsin? Okay, we're gonna.
Dude, if Cynthia will put us on the helicopter, we're coming. We are.
I don't know if I can do that insurance-wise.
All right, well.
I could try.
Still.
I could try.
Yeah, I sense a lot of hedging.
But still. Hey, Andrew Wilson says, having
I'll
started
totally
working
do it.
in a hospital, I have realized how little RNs and MDs know about paramedics. Not their fault, just a point for education.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, I'm very in the dark.
Yeah. Oh well, they do everything. I mean, they intubate. They can deliver babies. Believe it or not, they can get people out of cars. They do CPR. They resuscitate. Like they're the first person there when you're in your VFib cardiac arrest.
That's amazing.
And they bring in all their stuff, put it on the patient, decide what they're gonna do, give meds, start lines. Like they do everything in a very limited resource, limited information, limited everything environment.
Do they do everything really? Because can they
people
deliver
watching.
turkey sandwiches and dilaudid? Because that's what my patients want and need.
Yeah. I don't know. No, maybe not the turkey sandwiches, but
With the dilaudid?
it depends on the crew. So
Well, isn't it crazy that they're paid so little? I mean, that's a lot of things to be able to do.
you say paid well?
It's pretty much a minimum wage kind of scenario. in many
And
cases.
they're getting paid in a lot of cases the same as somebody who's just like, you want fries with that? And the answer is, hell yeah, I always get extra fries.
And it's with the poutine sauce, and also in some cases it's a voluntary thing, right?
Yeah. There's a bunch of volunteer squads out there. That's people who are missing their holidays, their kids' recitals, dinner with the family,
right?
Because they're volunteering to help out.
Now,
fellow man.
speaking about missing all those things, you decided to miss all those things by gallivanting around on a helicopter as an EM doc. Tell
Phenomenal.
me, how the heck did you get that gig? Because that is the dopest gig on the planet.
It's awesome.
It's like Airwolf.
Yeah.
Minus Stringfellow Hawk.
I'm old enough to know that, but I don't.
That's not okay. You're 20 years old.
That's right. 21. I'm in Vegas.
She can drink.
wanna walk the drinks.
How did you go down that path?
So when I decided to go into med school, I thought, okay, I want to be at like the top. I don't want anyone to tell me what to do. Like I want to be able to make decisions for myself. So
You became an administrator.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Well, they don't tell you about that beforehand. Before you go to med school.
It's a great bait and switch.
So med school was awesome, and then I decided I wanted to do EM, go into emergency medicine, obviously because I'd been a paramedic for so long. And then I was one of those people that my third year in residency, I wasn't sure what I was going to do at the end. Like I was coming up to like that last 6-month period where like you have to decide where you're going to sign your contract. And I wasn't really sure. And one of my really awesome advisors was like, you know, Cynthia, I've never seen you as happy as you were when you were on the helicopter and when you were doing your EMS week. He's like, some residents don't like it, but you like thrived, like you loved it. And I was like, yeah, well, I screwed up because I decided to go to med school and now it's all nurse paramedic that fly. And he said, why don't you just Google it? And I was like, oh, please. And
Dr. Google.
I did. I Googled it.
Wow.
And I found the University of Wisconsin and the director, who's Ryan Wubin, and I sent him an email and I was like, hey, here's my CV. Here's what I've done. I've been a paramedic for so long and like, I want to be on a helicopter. And he was like, oh, come on down. Let's have an interview.
Guys, like, here's the teaching
And I
point.
fooled him too.
She totally pulled the wool over this guy's eyes, and now she gets to like fly in a helicopter.
Phenomenal.
For money.
Yeah.
Like that's incredible and save lives. Well, here's the takeaway I feel from that.
Yeah.
Which is, I get a lot of messages from the Z-Pack, get to the chopper. I get a lot of messages from the Z-Pack saying, look, I'm in this position in my life, I'm in that position, this is my passion, is it too late for me to pursue it?
It's never too late.
How do I pursue it? What
So
do
never
I
too
do?
late.
Just the fact that they're reaching out and emailing a complete stranger, a celebrity who got stale before he ever got famous, it to me is a sign of their drive to do what they want to do. Just like you cold emailed this guy with really little to no hope of having any reaction, and you got the gig.
Yeah.
a flight fellow.
I mean, I still had to do like an interview
Of
and
course,
fly
yeah.
in and
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
Wisconsin. And
But he probably met you and was like, yes, because his elephant was like,
he's probably like,
she's awesome.
I don't know.
She's gonna fly the chopper. And speaking of,
wish.
you don't actually fly.
No,
Yeah.
I wish.
Right?
No, we're
you
not
want to
allowed
you want to be a
to.
pilot?
Yeah.
Because I want to be a pilot too.
I totally want to be a pilot. In fact, my husband got me one of those like Discovery flights for Christmas, and I didn't use it for the whole year.
You need to use that or give it to me.
No.
Give me that flight.
Well, it already expired.
Nick
so I need to
Castle
do
says,
another one.
recommendations for a new PA and how to befriend the EMS crew. Cynthia, you probably have a good recommendation for this since you've been on both sides of it.
Yeah, well, not really the PA side, but I work with awesome
Not the
PAs.
PA side, but you've been in the hospital and you've been in the field.
Yeah.
You know,
so how to have good relations with EMS is basically to listen to what they say when they come in.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
So a lot of times they're like rattling off their, not rattling, that's kind of a mean way
You're
to say
so
it.
condescending.
No,
You're
but
such
they're
a
giving
doctor.
the story, and they're the ones who were like, they were right there. They saw what the place looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Like they know if there's like bottles lying around, needles, and like I don't know. Sometimes everything's going so fast, and you want to get the patient over the bed, like that they're not listening. And so the best thing you can do is just listen to them. Like just listen to their stories, ask questions.
That's I think I
Don't
agree.
blow 'em off.
I agree 100%. And you know what? I, as a hospitalist, was interesting because I would go down there and I get called quickly if something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was lucky, I would get down in time. I wasn't dragging my feet or avoiding the page like I often do with you emergency sisters from other misters. If I get there in time,
Because we love calling you guys.
Because I know, and we love being called. If we get there in time, if the EMS guys were still there or gals were still there, I would hijack them and I would just ask them, dude, so what's going on?
I have no idea how you did that. Even I have issues. Like I'm in the ER. I'm the ER doctor.
You know what it was? A lot of times,
hard to get hold of them.
They would be on their way out or something, and I'd see them go, "Did you just bring in Mrs. Pickles? Listen, what's the real scoop? Because these ER guys, I don't trust them. Like I'd kind of empower them to say, okay, now's your chance to tell the story to someone who's really, really, really invested in knowing the truth of this. And the information I would get would complement or fill in stuff that the emergency department had given me in a way that was so helpful to the patient. Like, oh, little Miss Sally had a room full of Campbell's soup cans that were half drank and she's got CHF.
Yeah.
And she's here with edema and we're wondering what
Yeah.
triggered it. And we're like, she's been drinking that Campbell's though. It's like got 4 grams of sodium in the pea soup.
Like
And
sunflower seeds.
Exactly.
Like, oh, they had tons of buckets of sunflower
I
seeds.
don't add salt to my food. It's like, well, yeah, it's already in there. So,
Consequently, though, Cynthia, have you seen, coworkers in the hospital setting have negative attitudes towards EMS or think they are undertrained or anything like that? Because
I think they know
certainly
not to
heard
say that stuff around me.
They probably do.
Because then the Puerto Rican comes out.
oh yeah,
100%.
How does that look? When the Puerto Rican comes out?
It's not pretty. Knives
not pretty?
are involved.
Is-
I'm just kidding.
is it like- is
all
it-
Puerto Ricans are gonna like hate me. But yeah.
Welcome to my world.
Other
Every
guy.
single Indian on the planet's like, that guy doesn't talk like us. Okay, I'm telling you. But do you think? Because
I
there
think
is.
it's because they don't know. They don't know how much they can do, and they also you don't know unless you have been on that rig, unless you have run calls with them.
Yeah.
And I mean really run calls. Like do it for at least. Well, a month would be difficult, but just a couple hours of a ride along is nothing compared to the 24-hour shifts that they do.
Yeah, right.
And like the constant calls, and then they see bad stuff.
Yeah. And they see bad stuff in the middle of the night. People have been waiting on it, sitting on it, waiting on it, and then call at 3 a.m, right?
Yep.
And it's like, well, couldn't you have called earlier? But they think they can power through it.
Yeah.
There's some magical algorithm.
No,
Yeah.
they should only call 911 for emergencies.
That's right. Not as an Uber.
Not as an Uber. No.
Not as an Uber. There were other things in this that I thought were really interesting.
What you got?
You are really thrilled about how ultrasound is starting to infiltrate EMS.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So a lot of times with
You
EMS.
guys love ultrasound.
Oh
now. Yeah,
my
yeah.
God, yeah. We're totally getting an ultrasound. Well, in EM, in general, we're using ultrasound for almost every patient.
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing is that now we're finding out you can use it so much in critical care. So patients who are hypotensive, instead of guessing, because great, you're a hospitalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Purportedly.
I know exactly who you are.
Purportedly.
But you already have an idea of what's going on. We don't know. I don't know. I see a 40-year-old difficulty breathing and hypotensive, what could that be? In the past we could just throw fluids at somebody and hope that works, and then it doesn't. And then you do a bunch of different things, but if you use ultrasound, you can find out, is this an ectopic? Is this a collapsed lung? Is this tension pneumo? Is this pericarditis? Is this ultrasound just lets you find all of that, and it's non-invasive.
Yeah.
And now they're bringing it onto ambulances, and Because those are the people who were there when that patient's hypotensive
No.
the first time and traumatized. And
I'm gonna play devil's advocate
Oh,
because
bring it.
that's what I do. And she's Puerto Rican; she can punch me in the face. And I know y'all Z-Pack want to see that. So my wife, who is a radiologist, Mrs. Dog, MD, which by the way, can I rant for 1 second?
Please.
Okay. All the women doctors who are yelling at me, okay, for not adding a doctor in front of Mrs. Dog, MD, because that's somehow sexist, you can shut the heck up, okay? She came up with that title. It has an MD on it, and that's how she wants to be identified, and it sounds dope.
it does sound dope.
So take your doctor and put it in your safe space, all right? Okay, now back to this.
Yeah.
So she
Devil's advocate.
has some difficulty with the early iteration of ultrasound in an emergency medicine setting because what she finds is there are some emergency physicians who don't know what they don't know in terms of how to read and interpret those ultrasounds. So they'll overinterpret or underinterpret, and it'll change the management in a way that it might have been better just to get the formal ultrasound
Like the
quickly.
official one?
Right. And so what's
See,
your take on that?
quickly. You got
Yeah.
the quickly part there.
That's the key thing.
Quickly ain't so quickly.
Right, because you got to get the tech. If it's in the middle of the night,
You gotta
sometimes
call in
you
the
got to get
tech.
the tech in and all of that. So it's a
Exactly.
very nuanced thing. So
Yeah.
everybody who's a specialist in something feels like the other crew who try to do it are never going to do it quite as
Right.
good. And that's always going to be true, but they're going to do it when it's needed and quickly. And then as we get better at training ultrasound, at ultrasound being actually really good, so we can actually see easily, right?
Yeah, so the thing is, the best part about doing bedside ultrasound is that that's the physician who has already done their assessment on the patient.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I think it is. I know exactly where to look.
you're
I
not-
know where they're having pain.
Yeah.
And the same thing with EMS. Like, they saw the crumpled car. They saw the mechanism of injury on that patient. Like, they're going to know how to do the best ultrasound for that patient. So that's like the complete opposite of your argument. That,
Yeah.
you know, we have that extra information.
Yeah. No, I
So
like
we're going to
that.
know
That's-
how to do the exam better. And I was fortunate enough that for my residency, like, we had a really strong ultrasound director, and we ultrasounded almost every patient. And it was phenomenal. And he pushed us really, really hard. And like, granted, we were kind of mad. Like, these pictures totally look normal, and he'd say no. But he pushed us so hard that like we use it all the time. I use it all the time now. And now it's getting integrated into the helicopter EMS and into ground EMS. And there's like tons of incredible like free access education out there. And
FOMED,
yeah.
free open access
Education.
medical education.
Yeah. And there's
Yeah.
like EMS POCUS, and there's just like everything out there where you can teach yourself about ultrasound. And granted, at first it's hard.
Yeah.
At first when you look at it, because you're taking like a 3D thing, 4D thing, and you're looking at it in a 2D image, and it's hard at first.
Yeah.
It just looks like a snowstorm.
Yep.
But if you do enough, then you get it.
Let me
It
ask-
just clicks.
Let me ask you a question. So a caveman like Tom Heineber, let's get a Heineber cam. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Probably 70% primitive limbic brain and like 1% cortex. Okay. Barely can tie his laces. Could you teach
Velcro
him?
for that.
Could you teach? As opposed to Logan, who is in fact a secret brain surgeon, could you teach
Rocket
Tom
surgeon.
Heineber how to do an ultrasound?
Oh yeah.
Even though he knows minimal anatomy and all of that.
Yeah.
See, that's
You
amazing.
can teach anybody anything.
That's disruptive technology. That is revolutionary. And I agree. I think you could. I think you could show them patterns and say,
Oh, yeah.
this is acute cholecystitis. This is an ectopic pregnancy.
Yeah,
this
I
is-
think he would. I mean, you'd have to practice.
Yeah, you'd have to practice a lot.
You can't just get it with your first image or even your first 20 images. Well, sometimes 20, but
Right.
But you gotta like really practice it, and
Yep.
and then you get it.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing that like I don't know. I think it's incredible. Through my lifetime, I've seen EMS get like stronger and stronger. Like starting with 12 leads, and then end-tidal CO2, and now ultrasound, and it's like phenomenal.
It's changed so much. You know, we used to put in lines using the freaking force. But for those of you who don't know, the muggles out there, a line is
That's almost scary.
It is. It's an intravenous catheter, basically,
Maybe
that goes in
like,
one of your big vessels. One of
Stabbing in
these
there,
veins or in the
somewhere
groin.
in there.
This is how I used to do it, right?
Crazy.
So they would say, okay, you're gonna put an IJ. You aim towards the sternal notch, or the supraclavicular notch. You feel for the pulse of the carotid, so you don't stick it. You use the freaking force, and you
Crazy.
poke until you get a flash of blood, and then you try to fish in this wire. And if you're in the wrong vessel, oh crap! Or if you can't fish it, well, it's because you know, and poke. Nowadays, it's like ultrasound. Oh, there it is. Site
Yep.
right. Boom, pack, bam. And it's not that easy, but it's pretty
No, it can be
revolutionary.
that easy.
It's transformative.
It can be that easy, yeah.
Like Tom Heineberg could put in a line. I mean, he would do it just out of spite.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love it so much. I'm buying my own machine.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm
That's
thinking
pretty
about
awesome.
it.
That's pretty awesome.
But I bought my like own end title, and like it's just cool to have your stuff right there that you need. And
You have your own machine. That's awesome.
yeah, well, hopefully I'm getting my own machine.
Well, you know, I have my own.
For the
I'm my own
birthday.
barber. Okay.
We're coming up on our
I'm
time
not gonna
limit,
use that
Z.
one.
You want to do closing thoughts with Dr. Cynthia?
Closing thoughts, Dr. Cynthia. EMS week coming up.
Yes.
You've been on a path that's taken you through career medic, from military brat, bi-coastal military brat,
yeah.
with her own special bathroom, says bi-coastal on
Maybe.
it, to osteopathic emergency physician,
Yep.
to flight doc, and now integrating all of those and utilizing new technologies such as ultrasound and ETCO2 and all the other things that you're using. What would your biggest advice be for EMS frontline providers going into EMS week to really encourage them that they have found a calling here?
That they found a calling, like doing EMS.
Yeah.
They already started. Like that's your call. Like you had the balls to like become an EMS provider, like to help somebody, like on their worst day, when you don't even know, they don't even know what they're getting into. Like you get called out to a known emergency.
Yeah.
Like that could be. That's the call. Like right there. They're there. Like if you're an EMS provider, you are there. Like don't give up, because not everyone can even start that.
And I would add that Dr. Cynthia proves that if you feel like you're not at the end point of what you're looking for in your career, in other words, your elephant is going, something's not right, go to the next step of what you want to do to change your path or your career.
Yeah.
You said, I want to be a doc now. You went and became a doc. And I know that wasn't easy. It's hard to do.
No,
and it
I
takes
know.
time.
It wasn't totally easy.
And
I
the
struggled.
struggle is real. And then you do that and you're like, well, now what do I do within this space? Well,
Yeah.
you found your niche and you reached out proactively.
Yep.
So it's personal accountability. It's taking the reins off your career and your life and finding your calling and never giving up until you know it's that.
Never give up. Like keep pushing yourself until you're happy. And I've got my dream job.
Happy or dead,
Yeah.
or both.
No, just happy.
I'll take that. Dr. Cynthia Griffin, what a pleasure and an honor. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And
Thanks for
we
having
will
me.
have her back next time she's in Vegas. Until then, Z-Pack, we love y'all. What do you think, Tom? Should we end the show?
I just want to say I'm going out drinking, binge drinking, so I'll see you later, Las Vegas EMS. Honorable shout out, LVPD. What's up, y'all?
I hate you so much, Tom Heineberg.
I'll be there.
I really do. I hate you.
Go, 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 go. I might. Uh huh.